Across gaming's long history, adventure games have always held a strong cult following. Starting in the late 1980s, LucasArts put out several big pioneers with The Secrets of Monkey Island and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. These efforts were then followed up by Maniac Mansion, Sam & Max, and Grim Fandango in the 90s. Thanks to a combination of witty writing, clever puzzles, and effective animation, they carved out their own niche in the wider market. Following an extended hiatus in the 2000s, adventure games began to make a comeback in the 7th console generation. Quantic Dream made their mark in the AAA scene with Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, but it was Telltale Games who really got things moving again. Between 2012 and 2017, this studio dominated the adventure genre, rapidly expanding their catalogue to other big properties like The Wolf Among Us, Batman, Game of Thrones, Guardians of the Galaxy, and even Minecraft. The blueprint for smaller scale episodic content was established, a 5 or 6 part story gradually released through the year with a consistent art style and gameplay that swaps between QuickTime events and exploration. Over time, the large volume of content revealed Telltale's biggest flaw, using the same formula again and again with no progression. Add to that the crunch culture forced onto the dev team, and you can see why the studio eventually went under in 2018. That brings us to The Council, developed by Big Bad Wolf and published by Focus Home Interactive. By coincidence, the 5 episodes came out in the same year Telltale closed its doors, and managed to stand out. How? By taking a modern setup and evolving it. To set the scene, you play as Louis de Richet, a French noble invited to a meeting of the Golden Order on an isolated island estate. It's the late 1700s and big changes are afoot. Some of the esteemed guests include George Washington, Napoleon Bonaparte, and other fictional faces. The gathering is shrouded in conspiracy and deceit, with every member of the Order hiding something as you play through each episode. This reveals the game's biggest strength. Rather than relying on action scenes and QuickTime events, the Council is all about intrigue, conversation, and the gradual reveal of information. As a diplomat, occultist, or detective, Louis must track down his mother Sarah and unravel the mystery. The dialogue and overall direction don't change with these roles, but your options do. Already the game offers at least 3 playthroughs, delivering an additional layer. Rather than playing through twice and choosing the opposite outcomes, there are many elements that can only be uncovered through specific RPG skill sets. Next, we have the core gameplay, which still maintains the biggest tenets of the genre. You'll wander around the environment looking for clues and conversing with the other characters. Every so often you'll find or stumble into a major set-piece moment. Louis may be confronted by one of the guests or be faced with a difficult choice. Many modern titles have used these components, but here it's not about mashing buttons to break free or dodge attacks. Instead, the Council leans into verbal sparring, listening carefully to what is said, teasing out a character's vulnerabilities, and persuading them goes deeper than other systems. There are no good or evil meters, nor are there any measurements for where your relationships with other characters stand. This feels more organic, even if the dialogue system boils down to choosing the right options before you fail the encounter. One of the biggest examples comes early on with the highly unstable Jacques Peru. Jacques is in a violent argument with Elizabeth Adams and pulls out a gun, triggering a higher amount of effort points. You can either succeed at defusing the argument or be shot as a result. This is just the first of many encounters where you'll need to choose your words carefully while also taking note of the finer details. Collectively, the 5 episodes build towards a major vote where the Golden Order will decide on a geopolitical deal between America, France, and Spain, chaired by Lord Mortimer. Throughout the playthrough, you'll have the opportunity to side with, double-cross, or work against the council members. Cardinal Piaggi entrusts Louis with a top-secret letter. Emily Hillsborough trades barbs with her sister in a mind-bending standoff, and Johann von Wollner is constantly suspicious of Louis and his motives. This slow burn of individual motives is central to the Council's success. It relies less on shocking twists and more on discovery. When Louis finds his mother at the end of episode 2, that's when the conspiracies really start to grow. The blend of adventure, role-playing and puzzle solving takes place in a single location, a major contrast with Telltale games which saw the characters journeying from one location to another throughout the episodes. Lord Mortimer's estate is comprised of 3 floors, many guest rooms, a garden and some hidden chambers. You'd think one environment would get tiresome, but the council is able to balance this out with a solid atmosphere, good lighting, and several consumable items that can help Louis in the quest. From the paintings on the wall to the lavish dining rooms, the game does a great job of pulling you in. As for the items, they can give the player a free use of one ability, reduce the effort cost of using Louis' intuition, or in the case of the rare amber shards, allow him to upgrade his effort point total. This encourages the player to explore the areas, crack open lockboxes, and stockpile items to use at the opportune moment. Over time, you'll also level up Louis' skills and acquire traits for both good and ill depending on your actions. This adds some extra variation beyond your base stats. Solving puzzles on your first try will add extra points to logic, for example. For all the interesting turns taken, the council does have some flaws that reveal the limits of both its story and ambitions. With the main narrative being so crucial, it's a shame that the character models and facial expressions lack detail when compared to the voice acting, which is quite good across the board. On top of that, adventure games have always had trouble with making every single choice matter, and the council is no different. The reveal that every character is a supernatural being could have been handled better, and giving Louis the ability to read minds also feels tacked on. It rarely gives you an advantage in conversation, and reveals some hidden details about each character instead. The final episode, Checkmate, is the lowest rated by both mainstream critics and the Steam community. A lot of that comes down to the big vote. No matter which alliances or choices made, Mortimer always wins because he's rigged the system in his favour. This railroads the player straight into a trippy mental dream world. Mortimer and his associate Gregory are battling to decide the future of the Golden Order. Will it strike out in a new direction or maintain ancient traditions? The episode does pick up towards the end, as Louis can choose to align with one of these two leading voices or neither of them. There are multiple endings and conclusions for each character, but the council needed to offer more branching pathways leading up to this point. What if Louis did succeed in winning the vote and launched into a full-on confrontation with Mortimer or Gregory? How would this influence the characters going forward? It would certainly add more weight to the alliances formed in previous episodes. Despite these issues, the council was and still is a very pleasant surprise. I had already played several Telltale games, including 2 seasons of The Walking Dead, and this AA effort was well placed to shake up the adventure game, which appears to have slipped into obscurity once again in the 2020s. Here's hoping that future developers can take on some lessons and create some new compelling narratives that we get to influence. Thanks for watching. The council may have received mixed reviews on release, but I still recommend it if you're a fan of adventure games. Big Bad Wolf's first title is unlike anything else in the genre and definitely deserves more attention. You can find more video breakdowns like this one on my channel.